the week in WWE, and it was a good week in WWE. A good Monday Night Raw. I think a decent Friday Night SmackDown. If you were to go back,
great SmackDown.
Go back to SmackDown this past week, and something we don't talk about a lot, but NXT. And one thing that's strange, and you got to be reminded, is that Halloween Havoc is this Saturday night in a traditional WWE pay-per-view time slot. It is not next Tuesday on USA Network. It is not just a special edition, because that's what the Halloween Havocs have been before.
Yeah.
Even like the Great American Bash is, but this is a standalone event.
I like it. And there's a lot of intrigue this week. I mean, not only is it the go home before Havoc, but like you just said in the open, they had to go head to head with AEW, so they had to bring out the big guns.
Yeah, if you look at the card, it looks like if I was to close my eyes and open them up and you say, what card is this from? I'd be like, Monday Night Raw in a year? Because, I mean, there's some great names. I mean, not to mention you had Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez, which I know Roxanne Perez is a Booker T graduate from her before her WWE days. So Booker T knows her very well. So it's cool to get that perspective when he's on the commentary station there with Vic Joseph. I actually really like that pairing. I think that's a good deal there. And then Shinsuke showed up. Well, let's talk about that. Shinsuke Nakamura. Some of these other big names kind of were part of the trying to boost up NXT for the weekend, but Shinsuke Nakamura shows up on NXT, and I guess the question that goes with that is this now his place? Is he in NXT now? Because I mean, he didn't just show up here for like a one-off, like let's say a Rhea Ripley did or a Kevin Owens did. He made it out like he's going to be in NXT for a little bit.
If that is really the case, I like this. I think it's good for Shin. I think right now, I think NXT could use a little bit of that flavor where, yes, they have all these young developing talents, the Tony D'Angelo's of the world. I mean, you have like Briggs and Jensen, like a tag team like that. You have so much of this young talent where they're a lot like to the mainstream audience, the Raw and SmackDown audience, they're not household names. So when you bring those household names that people are familiar with, the Shinsuke Nakamura's of the world, Rhea Ripley, even if it's a one-off, it still gets the rub. And like, here's the other one. You got the OC. The OC shows up and helps out our boy to the moon, Cameron Grimes. By the way, I had to ask you, did you see that backstage segment where Grimes puts a big wad of cash?
Big wad of cash, yes. I did see that.
And big LG's face, and LG's face turned into a GIF. So,
yeah.
Or was it GIF?
It's a GIF.
Is it? I don't know the proper terminology.
Jif is peanut butter, and that starts with a J.
That I was just making sure because
first off, well, one, it's not a new thing. I don't want to say that. I mean, these
newer thing. I mean, I just realized not too long ago.
Somebody today, I work with a younger person in the office on a daily, and he said something today that is not in the GIF term. If you want to talk about newer things, I asked how a candy bar tasted, and he said, "Oh, those slap." That was new to me. That
slap. What the hell is that? Is that good?
So when you say GIF being a new thing, you make me realize no. I mean there are.
That's newer for me.
In terms of younger people, that's an older thing. That's like saying something's fire. That's
fire. I still use fire once in a while.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's not new.
Yeah, I don't know what these new slang words.
If you were to ask a 22-year-old, how to say GIF, and I'm not up on the new things, they'd be like, that's not even new. We're phasing out of GIF. We're moving on to meme. We're moving on to other things.
Whatever the hell it is. Yeah.
So yes, I did see that segment on NXT this week.
I love that he was sniffing the cash, all excited. That I saw that someone put it up as a GIF. I was like, it's cool. I like that. But it was a good show. You got a lot of that main roster rub that you needed. You mentioned Kevin Owens. I think it was perfect for what we were looking for. And then plus, Mandy Rose. She from what I saw, she's back in the fold after she was abducted by
hanging out with Sonya Deville. I mean, it was cool to see those two together again. One thing that we saw this week on NXT that takes us back, I guess, to WrestleMania pre-COVID, takes us back to WrestleMania COVID, but the storyline that started pre-COVID and back when, Triple H says his things now about AEW beating developmental, and this kind of shows you maybe that he was joking or, at least having a backtrack because here was proof and back in the day when it wasn't developmental. I'm talking about when Charlotte Flair won the 2020 Royal Rumble and went after Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania, not for the other title. So I think that's kind of proof right there that, maybe Triple H needs to, but the whole it's just developmental thing, you forget that you were putting the NXT Championship at WrestleMania and having the Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah, why aren't we just making this a third brand officially?
And reason I'm saying that is because something that harkens back to that is something we saw to end NXT this week, and that was with Austin Theory, who has Money in the Bank. He can challenge for the Universal title. He can challenge for the just the World Heavyweight title. Or, as he showed up on NXT this week, he can challenge for the NXT Championship. Now, he didn't challenge. He didn't make it, I guess, clear what he was going to do, but he did show up on NXT, and he did want everyone to know that he did have the Money in the Bank briefcase heading into the NXT Triple Threat Championship match this weekend.
So he's planting the seeds then, is what you're saying.
JT McDonough, Dragunov, and Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship this upcoming Saturday night. And Austin Theory hanging in the
we got to take a step back with that. With Austin Theory, I know we were talking off air about this. I personally don't like the fact that he was planting that seed, so to speak. I wanted that surprise factor of you just don't see it coming, because you don't see nowadays with social media and everything gets spoiled by these journalists and whatnot, these wrestling insiders, quote unquote. I would have liked if he would have just left it alone, because if he is cashing in, why not just let him cash in?
And the reason I told you kind of off air, and I'll say it again here, is I can understand. It's the same reason why WWE, but even more so, WWE, if you remember back in the day, I used to still get mad and still do about them spoiling Royal Rumble returns. But the difference in those are that the Royal Rumble is a big-time WWE branded pay-per-view event that everybody's going to be watching if you like the WWE and you know what the Royal Rumble entails. It's up there with WrestleMania. There's no surprise. There's nobody who's waiting out the Royal Rumble to see if it was any good or not. Now, NXT is not the Royal Rumble. There's probably a lot of people like myself, like yourself, who, especially as of late, haven't been making NXT must-see television.
Yeah, it's not appointment television.
Yes. So, Austin Theory showing up with Money in the Bank, because a lot of us may not even watch that live when it happened on the weekly show, but are going to find out about it, and now going to make a point to watch NXT Halloween Havoc this Saturday night.
I got to stop you there. Is Austin Theory have that much pull to get more of a boost to Halloween Havoc? He's not on the same level as a Kevin Owens, is he?
I mean, I think he is right now for the fact that...
You really think so?
Well, he's not on the same level. He's not on the same level of Kevin Owens when it comes to his importance as a character individually, but he has Money in the Bank.
But here's the thing. It's only Austin Theory. It's not like it's like John Cena, it's not like, I understand these big names. To me,
Money in the Bank is like being the winner of the Royal Rumble.
Why show your hand? Why show your hand before the show? Why not have that intrigue where somebody will see it on Saturday night on Twitter, where they're like, "Oh crap! Oh, he's the new champion." Say this.
Because it's too late, because we already missed it.
Yeah, but guess what? Then the intrigue is there because they're like, "Oh, okay, Austin Theory, he thought the NXT Championship was a big enough deal to take the Money in the Bank briefcase and cash it in. So then maybe you get more eyeballs on the television side of things." That's how I look at it. He's not one of those names where he's like a Randy Orton or even like a Matt Riddle, where oh wait, he's on NXT now. Oh, all right. I maybe I should tune in.
No. And here's the thing with Austin Theory.
No offense to Austin Theory, because he's damn good.
You mentioned much bigger names, but the thing about those much bigger names, and we saw them this week on NXT.
So is Matt Riddle that much of a bigger name?
Matt Riddle's a bigger name, of course. I think Matt Riddle's a bigger name. Randy Orton's a bigger name.
Is the difference that much? Randy Orton, yes. John Cena, yes. Is Matt Riddle that far ahead of Austin Theory? I don't think the gap is that far away, but it's far enough.
I think Austin Theory is the big thing with him versus Randy Orton. Why I would be more interested in tuning in Halloween Havoc than if you said Randy Orton was going to show up, or if any of the other people are going to show up, because they did show up this past week. Sonya Deville showed up. Kevin Owens showed up. The OC showed up, but they just showed up. They showed up for a one-off. It was interesting. It's, the same as when they say The Undertaker is going to be on SmackDown this week. He's going to be on SmackDown in a segment real quick just to chit-chat, or Edge back before he came back from injury when they said he's going to have and I saw him a couple times do the rated R, the show he did. What's the name of the show? The rated R, his show.
Who, Edges?
Yeah, the Cutting Edge.
Cutting Edge.
The Cutting Edge. So he did that. So, I tuned into SmackDown a few times to see him, but, I knew he wasn't going to be in a match. I knew he wasn't challenging for the title. He was just being there to do a quick little segment kind of thing. But the name cachet is cool, right? Austin Theory, what he has now, if Austin Theory was showing up to the Halloween Havoc without Money in the Bank, who cares? I could care less if he was in a match. What the thing is that he has Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank is associated with the main roster. Money in the Bank is like having the Royal Rumble win. It's a prestigious championship belt or opportunity.
But,
therefore, if you have it in your hands.
But the object of the Money in the Bank briefcase, and Seth Rollins is the great example where he did the best cash in, the biggest surprise of all time. Yes, I know, Halloween Havoc, WrestleMania, I get it. But at the same token, the Money in the Bank briefcase is known for one thing. You're supposed to have surprises. You don't kind of tip your hand the same week and say, hey, you know what? I might just show up to... That's my issue with it.
First off, Austin Theory has done that. Did you not remember the SummerSlam? Did you not remember the build into SummerSlam of him showing up to Roman and Brock every week?
But here's the thing. He hasn't been on NXT program is what I'm saying. It's
exactly, though.
But you leave it. You leave the surprise out because then no one expects it. Then you have no one expecting it, and then he comes in unexpectedly. Nobody has the report out there. None of these the inside scoop guys, they these Wrestling Observer folks, they don't have any of that stuff out there, and he just shows up. That to me is going to be more of an impact overall than just I get it would be an impact in the sense that it would show people in the future, hey, maybe we should be watching these NXT pay-per-views. Maybe they're much-watched television. Maybe we should be treating them with the same regard as Extreme Rules or Royal Rumble or any of these other events. But right now, where NXT sits on the totem pole in the terms of WWE fandom and where fans are making a priority to watch Halloween Havoc, which doesn't have a lot of other major names that are going to draw people in, as this is like a takeover from 4 years ago. It's not. But now with Austin Theory and Money in the Bank, you do have that intrigue that's going to get people to tune in. If I find out, for example, I didn't really watch a lot of NXT on Tuesday night, but I found out that Austin Theory showed up. And now that's going to make me watch the pay-per-view. That would have been done. That really made the difference. That really makes a difference to you, because to me, the cachet.
It doesn't work. Let's say
if
he cashes in on Saturday night, then it's cool to read about on Sunday morning, and it's cool to go back and watch. But it's already too late. We already missed it, and we're watching it in retrospect.
Well, then guess what? That'll make you say, man, I didn't know that was happening. Oh, I guess I better start watching NXT because there might be some more surprises that I don't know about. You can't.
You need to build up that reputation though first. You need to get us to tune into Halloween Havoc.
You build it up by just having that major surprise at Halloween Havoc. That's how I look at it. It's the problem with the world the way it is now with social media. Nothing is sacred anymore. Let's have some sacredness and let's have some really cool moments. Because when's the last time we've really had that moment where you're like, oh my God, he's here. I mean, like Bray Wyatt, we speculated. We called our shot
absolutely,
out.
Yes.
We called that out, essentially. Was it cool that it happened? Yes, of course it was. But I like these surprises, like the Hardy Boys at WrestleMania a handful of years ago.
That was quite...
Nobody
The difference
knew.
is, though, in that sense, though, you already got your eyes on WrestleMania. Nobody is going to... nobody's on the fence about watching WrestleMania and then finding out the Hardy Boys come back, and that makes a difference. You're watching WrestleMania. You're watching the Super Bowl. You're watching these big-time events,
have to remember,
regardless.
It's not... to me, like, the NXT audience is a very niche audience, just like AEW has a niche audience.
And to make it a not niche audience, you put out Austin Theory and say he might cash in Money in the Bank.
Or you show the fans, oh my God, I just missed this on Saturday night. Man, I got to start watching this because who else is going to make their return or their debut? That's how I look at it. I want to, the problem with nowadays is wrestling is just there's not many surprises. We already see the things being the hands being tipped before it happens. So it's was the surprises that we've had like Bray Wyatt recently, was that cool? Yes. But there's I want to see something where it's organic. It just happens. No one knows. You're just sitting there watching it on your TV on Saturday night, and you're like, "Oh crap, he's here! Sweet!" And oh my God, he just cashed in and won the championship. That is cool.
Speaking of Bray Wyatt and speaking of things that we don't expect, we'll move on to SmackDown and talk about something I did not expect, and that's Bray Wyatt. I did not see the Bray Wyatt promo coming. First off, I was wrong. I said, Bray Wyatt, we're going to see a lot of vignettes. We're going to see a lot of videos. It's going to be a slow build to Bray Wyatt.
You still can.
I didn't realize, I didn't think he was going to be showing up and being in the ring on Friday Night SmackDown.
But I will give you credit, though. Just the way they presented that. By the way, that was the hell of a way to go out, by the way. That was fantastic. It was a different side of Bray Wyatt that we're not used to seeing. It was there was a lot of realness to it. Like, there was a lot of, he did such a great job in that promo. But I will add, you even mentioned, because we talked about who could be in this Wyatt family, the new Wyatt family, who are the 6? You called it. You said it could be the 6 different kind of personalities. And that showed it, because he showed that one side you've never seen of him before. That could be one personality. And then at the end of the show, then it's like you get this character that comes up on the screen.
Yes.
And then it goes to the end. So it's like, is that planting a seed for another?
It made me think we're going to get a similar, first, when he came out there, yes, very big surprise. Did not see that coming when he first came out there. Being, the wholehearted, looked like he was fighting away tears. Speaking from, more of the Wyndham Rotunda side of things than the Bray Wyatt side of things, saying that he was being real for the first time ever in his career, and he loves the fans and doing that whole 9 yards.
A nice ode to the late great Brody Lee as well. That was nice. I like that.
And then it made me think that we're going to get maybe a similar Bray Wyatt that we did last time around with the like you just said, multiple personalities. And this is just one of them. Meaning this wasn't a breakaway from Bray Wyatt, because that's what I originally saw this. I was like, wait a minute, was this return just fancy and now he's back and not doing this kind of like Seven in WCW? Remember that big thing where like Seven, they had the big thing with like the goofy, he's gonna come, and then when Dustin Rhodes actually came out as Seven, he like dissed the whole character and was like, this is the stupidest getup I've ever put on in my whole life. I can't believe I'm wearing this nonsense. And like it died right there. And I thought maybe the Bray Wyatt, all the Halloween stuff, the horror stuff was just, when he started talking from the heart, I was like, was this just a vehicle to get him back and be just now like Wyndham Rotunda Bray Wyatt without any of the darkness? And now we're just going to see him like pure wrestler kind of thing without, any, crazy character behind him. I saw that maybe this might be the regular side like we saw before with Bray Wyatt. He had he was kind of crazy on both sides, but he had the trying to be nice and friendly, but the difference is this nice and friendly might be more genuine versus that nice and friendly was
just trying to get you in.
It was very sarcastic. It was very much like he was being tongue-in-cheek and like it was one of those, sometimes when people smile at you, sometimes they're genuine when they smile at you, and sometimes they smile at you and that smile is more evil than if they didn't smile.
They actually loathe you.
Yes. So that's kind of like, so this could still be that, where there is still like the masked and the, character evil Bray Wyatt and the non-evil Bray Wyatt, except for this non-evil Bray Wyatt might be a little more genuine.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see it. I think I'll use the onion analogy. We're going to see this peel back a layer at a time. I think it's going to be, and I think you're onto something too, not only with the personalities, but I think you're going to see some more of their prepackaged, pre-produced stuff. I think that's something that I think you're on the 8 ball with that one. So I think it's going to be a little bit of both, and it's going to be drawn out. I think. I don't know how far that goes. We can speculate all we can and all we want. It's just going to be fun to watch, because it's just good to have him back. He's such a creative individual, and he's just an artist. So it's good to see he's going to have a blank canvas to do essentially what he wants without having too much restraint.
Yeah, it was interesting to see Bray Wyatt this past week. Obviously, Brock Lesnar returned to Monday Night Raw. One final thing, Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley did their thing leading up to Crown Jewel. That was kind of self-explanatory. Obviously, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley just tore the house down to start off Monday Night Raw. But one interesting thing to take away from Raw that, I guess, other than your typical matches and your, Elias coming back, that was another cool thing, was the return of JBL introducing Baron Corbin to Monday Night Raw, as he said it was in terms of a trade, sending Rey Mysterio to SmackDown, which is interesting, separating Dominic and Rey Mysterio. But so Rey Mysterio is kind of the unimportant part of that, though. It's the Baron Corbin coming to Raw with JBL kind of as his mouthpiece.
How great is this?
And that was kind of out of left field right there.
Yeah, that
told me next week on Raw, JBL with Baron Corbin are going to be a thing. I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Like, and that's the thing too. I'd like this because obviously JBL is like known for being like the financial guru. We know all that stuff, and then we know about Happy Corbin, Baron Corbin, with all his.
He still did have like the jackpot slot machine gimmick going on a little bit.
Maybe this is the guy that helped him get back on track financially. Maybe they're going to tie some of stuff in there. Yes, he hit big on some things, but maybe he found JBL to help him out. Or, hey, I don't want to go broke again. Can you give me some financial advice? And then, obviously not only financial advice, but also JBL is a pretty damn good wrestler. It is and back in his day. So I think the pairing there's going to be some layers to that are going to be interesting. I like JBL as his mouthpiece. Even though Baron Corbin can speak on his own very well, I think this is cool that JBL is going to be, kind of pushed into this. The thing everyone's taken away from JBL's promo was his diss on the Indies. Everyone always knows that he wasn't a big fan of that anyways, but he made the same statement of, if you've been in the Indies for 10 years, you're a loser. You've been stuck in the minors. I mean, that's his opinion. That's JBL. I mean, that's JBL. That's his opinion. I mean, some are going to disagree. Some are going to be like, yeah, sure. I mean, but it was a good way to tie in the fact that Baron Corbin was a professional football player, and then just he didn't pay his independent wrestling dues, so to speak, as the AJ Styles of the world, the Daniel Bryan Danielsons of the world, the Seth Rollins of the world. He just went from one professional sport to another. So, and JBL is he's another example of that as well. I mean, he was a pretty damn good athlete and transitioned into the wrestling business.